What do you bring to the table? Emphasis on the word you. What do you bring to the table? In every table you sit at, what do you bring to the table? Too often people judge the other people sitting at the table without taking a long look at themselves and being able to evaluate and determine, what do I bring to the table? That's at home. What do you do to bring and add value to your home? Is it financial? How do you take care of your significant other, your spouse? How do you take care of your kids? What do you do around the house to make that environment a better one? Nobody's perfect, but what do you bring to the table? And how often do you sit down and ask yourself, what do you bring to the table? See, often people are quick to ask or question what other people bring to the table, what someone else isn't doing, what your spouse isn't doing, what your kids need to be doing, so on and so forth. But what do you bring to the table? Whether it's at work and you're looking at your colleagues, whether those who hold the same position as you, those work under you, those who work over you, you're looking at them, questioning what they do and what they don't do. But what do you bring to the table? How do you add value to the position that you hold at your job? How are you improving that value and the position that you hold so that you can possibly grow in that position or elevate to another position? What are you bringing to the table? If it's hanging out with your friends and talking about life and what future endeavors you want to take part in, how often do you look around at everyone else, what they're doing, what they're not doing, what they should be doing, maybe being a little judgmental on the things that they do? But how often are you looking at yourself? Again, what do you bring to the table? It's really all about being self-evaluative. I heard someone say a long time ago, and I don't remember who it was, but I live by this. You want to help yourself not judge other people? Take a long look in the mirror when you wake up in the morning at yourself and think about how imperfect you are. And not as a dig or to bring you down, but just as a reminder, before you start judging other people, you are imperfect as well. And you lack in various areas. And you know where you lack more than anyone else knows you lack. See, people outside, and it could be people that are close to you, they only know what you show them, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But they don't know all of the ins and outs. Maybe things that go on in your head, maybe some of your insecurities, maybe some things that you struggle with that you don't put out into words. So think about what you bring to the table. And if it's not what your best version is, then improve it. But also be mindful before you start judging other people at the table and what they do and they don't do. Make sure that you evaluated yourself to determine what it is you do and you don't do. And again, it's not to say the people sitting at your table don't need to get better, but the conversation and the interactions will be a lot different. They'll come from a place of positivity. They will be hopefully heard more when you're trying to communicate where those people need to grow in those areas. If you first have been self-evaluative and you've looked at yourself and determined what it is you bring to the table and try to improve and get better in those areas. So what do you bring to the table? If you're not making a difference, you won't be missed when you're gone. At all the tables that you sit at. If you're not making a difference at the tables that you sit at, when you're gone, your absence won't matter. People won't remember you, and if they do, they won't look back and say, man, I wish so-and-so was still here, because you didn't make a difference when you were there. And that's in all aspects. You have to make a difference. You have to do what you need to do to improve yourself before you start looking around to judge others. Let them figure out what they need to do for themselves. And then if you built the rapport and you can give them some tidbits along the way, go for it. But make sure you have checked yourself before you start checking other people. Again, what do you bring to the table? You got to self-evaluate before you can start passing judgment on other people. I hope this message helps somebody. Love.